let's go now. I appreciate Michael Snyder joining us. We're going to skip this break so he has more time. The Economic Collapse blog, he wrote about it. Then it got picked up in The Hill, the New York Post, almost with the same headline. A secret army in a secret bunker, but it's admitted. It's not secret now. We have Obama continuing on with the globalist deep state, trying to sabotage Trump. Democrats at press conferences saying Trump's a Russian agent. I think Trump now must, as he did in the second debate, go on the offense, or they are going to come after him and then probably just kill him, and just like they did JFK. Go ahead.
Yeah, Alex, the people need to realize the Trump movement is in a life or death struggle against the globalists. And the globalists, you see, there's this vast, complex array, this vast web of laws for what government officials can do and can't do. Now, in the past, they've been very selectively enforced. Like when Obama broke laws, you know, they didn't really care. But now then Trump and his team are in, they're going to use these laws as weapons to go after, you know, Flynn is just the first. That's just the beginning. And they're immediately going to go on to the next targets. And they're going to try to take out whoever they can, whether it's Trump's family, members of the administration. It's war. And they've declared war on the Trump administration. And Barack Obama is very, very involved in all this. You know, most ex-presidents, when they leave the White House, traditionally, they've gone back to wherever they originally came from, and they build a library and they do oil painting, whatever they do. But Barack Obama, instead, he's decided he is going to stay in Washington, D.C. In fact, he's established a new residence. Some are calling it a compound, about 2 miles from the White House. And from there, he's actually directing what is being called an army of volunteers through an organization known as Organizing for Action. It was the organization. It originally started as his original presidential campaign, then his re-election campaign.
So we need a civilian force just as strong, just as big as our military. He's creating a brown shirt, literal Nazi brown shirt, outside of government, paramilitary group of goons.
Oh, he is. And since 2013, they've raised $40 million. And now that the administration is over, Obama's bringing in a lot of his old cronies, the people he worked with, people who were part of the administration or part of his campaigns in the past. And they're building a team. And they're at the forefront of a lot of these protests. So you've seen some of these protests, whether at the airports to protest the immigration, which some of them basically turned into riots. That was Organizing for Action involved in a lot of those. Or at a lot of these town halls where people are going crazy because of Obamacare. It's Organizing for Action. They're trying to defend
and now we know because of WikiLeaks, all of it, what Trump was saying was true. It's like, send women in, get them to beat people up, get them attacked. And it's just this crazy power-tripping Nazi collaborator fruit ball that still admittedly is at the center of all of it. I mean, good God.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about George Soros funding and organizing these protesters, but Organizing for Action is really key. They're really central to all this. In fact, if you go to the official website of Organizing for Action, right on the main page in the background is a huge picture of Barack Obama. This is Barack Obama's organization. Like I said, more than 30,000 members across the United States, and they claim to have 250 national chapters around the country. And Barack Obama is going to be guiding and directing this organization from his compound less than 2 miles from the White House, where he's building a giant brick wall around the compound to keep people out, which is kind of ironic.
And he's saying, join us, we fight. I want to get more into this, but this is all just part of a larger operation. The State Department is openly working against Trump, saying he's a Russian agent with no evidence. They're openly saying they're going to work with Soros and Google to stop Le Pen. I mean, this is so seditious. I don't shoot my mouth off about arresting people and stuff, but this is all foreign globalist outside corporate takeover. I think the president has to just go ahead and formulate a plan to go ahead and call for mass indictments and start arresting people. I think it needs to go ahead and happen. I'm serious. I'm not going to wait till they kill him. I'm not going to wait. They're organizing overthrow. They're saying kill him all over the news. I say legally, with the FBI, with our agencies, do the research, identify the people calling for sedition and murder, and start arresting them. And there's tens of thousands doing it. And I say arrest every frickin' one of them right now. They want to take the gloves off, because here's the deal, chicken necks. We already kicked your ass in the election. And if you want a civil war, we're going to run over you as well. But I don't want to go there. I have a family. And the idiots that are going along with this are the biggest bunch of dumbasses I've ever seen. Now, as for John McCain and Lindsey Graham and all these other perverts, they got so much dirt on them that's why they do what they do. But I got to tell you, we got to start moving and acting right now. I happen to know for over a week, and now it's in the news, and I'm sick of sitting here and waiting until it's in the news. with all my sources, but I got to do it. They're trying to get rid of his head of security he's had for decades, Keith Schiller. I'm going to learn more today when I get off air about it. And he's been told shut up while they run him out and get rid of all the private security he brought in, a bunch of top military people. I mean, it's just insane. And they know there's moves to kill the president every day. There were hundreds that got foiled with Obama, but they shut those down because you don't promote those. I mean, in fact, I'm just going to be quiet at this point. Look, they're already trying to kill Trump's the issue. And they're making a move. And the cowards in the White House, like Priebus and Spicer, they are crapping their pants. Well, you shouldn't have signed up for men's work then, boys. You yellow bellies, get the hell out of there. There's men that are ready to stand with the president and restore this republic. And I'm not up here shooting my mouth off. I don't usually talk like this, but I got to tell you, Snyder, I'm starting to get really pissed off.
Yeah, people need to understand this is a life or death struggle. We've got a Cold War going on inside the U.S. government right now. Nothing like we've ever seen, because what we've got Donald Trump in there. And he's basically a beachhead. You know, we haven't won the battle. He's just a beachhead, but we've got this entire government bureaucracy, which for decades has been filled up with people that are loyal to Barack Obama or Bush, but basically—
and they're all mental patients with chips on their shoulder, trained to hate America. This is a fifth column of trash.
Yeah, and so Donald Trump needs to do a house cleaning, basically, of the entire U.S. government, which is, I mean, when all the bureaucracies, that's going to take a long time to accomplish.
And again, he tried to leave some in so they could run things, but they're just sabotaging. They're in open, and I know he wants to look strong, so he can't say for the first time since the Civil War, agencies are in open revolt, but they are. They're announcing it. They're openly press conferences saying remove him right now. They could try to kill him within days. I can feel it.
All these things that have been coming out, it's these globalist sympathizers that are still inside the government that are the source of the leaks. They're openly trying to sabotage Trump from the inside. And so they've all got to go. But what happens every time Trump gets rid of some people? The mainstream media cries and whines and says, oh,
so what? You're in all of them. Yeah, these lists of people signing letters against Trump, that's a list of who to fire right there.
Oh, it absolutely is. So Donald Trump basically needs to clean out certainly the top levels of every single government agency, you know, and then he's got to replace that. And so that's going to impede really the functioning of the government potentially, but it's really what needs to happen. We've got to have a total and complete house cleaning, because as long as those people are there, they're going to be actively committing war and waging war against the Trump administration and trying to sabotage and trying to do whatever they can to hurt Trump.
I don't know how people even sleep now, because I'm somebody that's always enjoyed my sleep. I work hard, but I sleep really good. I can't even sleep now. I've even stopped drinking coffee very much. I just can't handle it. I mean, it's just like, you can see it, you can feel it, and then Trump's doing so much good stuff, and then the fake right wing's all working against him, and the fake left wing, and like, oh, he's Goldman Sachs, when Goldman Sachs is openly against him, and he's destroying their whole agenda, and then he's doing all these good things to bring jobs back. It's just unprecedented.
Oh, it really is. But unfortunately, I'm seeing a lot of complacency on the right among Trump supporters, because they think we won the election, and so they think, oh, everything's been accomplished, but really nothing's been accomplished. The promise of Trump, the promise of the future, depends on what happens with the battles moving forward. Meanwhile, on the left, the complacency on the left is gone. They were complacent before the election because they thought, oh, Hillary Clinton's going to win. It's going to be an easy victory. No problem. Trump's not a threat.
That's why when he got elected, Roger Stone said, why aren't you celebrating? And I just said, if they'd have put Hillary in, their system would have been totally destroyed within 4 to 8 years, but she might have started a nuclear war. So the right thing to do was to put Trump in. But now the real war is just about to begin. And, man, this is the big one. And, again, I wish the enemy wasn't so evil. It wouldn't be so bad. I wouldn't fight them so hard. My whole soul is like, these people are the devil. You've got to do what you had to do to beat them. It's so intense. How could anybody be bored, Michael Snyder?
I don't know how anybody could ever be bored in this day and time. We live at one of the most critical, momentous, historic periods in all of U.S. history. I mean, it's like the time of the Revolutionary War,
World
the
history,
Civil
brother.
War. I mean, literally the future of our country is at stake. Literally the future of what America is going to be for our children and our grandchildren is depending on what we do right now, the actions we take, the decisions we make as a nation, as a country. And so
let me stop you there. I totally agree, but this is global. Globalists admit their whole program is in fire. They're desperate. Humanity's awakening. They need to set up Trump as the image of the nationalist and destroy him to try to demoralize us. Well, we're not stupid. They destroy Trump, he will be an absolute martyr.
Yeah, and you know what, Alex? The New York Times, the Washington Post, they're now using the term globalist. They're not even trying to hide it anymore, and they say, "Oh, the globalists, they're in disarray. They don't know what to do because Trump got in. They're upset."
Yeah, they've
they're
gone from
disturbed.
denying it existed just as you like globalists are in panic trying to stop Trump. They hope the communist Chinese can come into the U.S. and block it politically. They're openly allied with the communist Chinese against us. And then, oh, Flynn talked to the Russians, something you're supposed to do as the national security advisor. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Look, Trump talked to the Japanese prime minister and showed him a picture of the missile. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's an epic time to be alive. You know, I was here listening to one of the reporters' earlier reports that aired during the break. And Ashley Beckford, she was getting into how they're just corporations all over the world are making people take microchips to work there. In Mexico, in areas of Europe. And now the news is like ABC, CBS, NBC's like, oh, yeah, you're just going to get a microchip now. And they're having to pass laws in Nevada. They're introducing laws that you can't be made to have a microchip to work. I mean, we've gone from, oh, that's crazy Alex Jones 20 years ago. And believe me, 25 years ago, out here, Christian, groups going, there'll be a one world government and a mark of the beast and blah, blah, blah. And there'll be 10 mega regions. And I was like, this is just, I'm a Christian, but this is just too much. These people are crazy. I remember my dad teaching Sunday school to adults with that stuff when I was like, 8 years old. I'm like, come on, Dad. Do I have to sit here 2 hours of church, then an hour of Sunday school, then hours, you taking the young adults group, to lunch or whatever and praying with them. And then it's all just happened. And it was because there were people in intelligence agencies back then that were briefed on the plan. And they were like, this sounds really horrible. It's just insane. It's totally insane. Well, Michael Snyder is on fire today. And I really appreciate him joining us and putting up with all my babble. But I got to tell you, theeconomiccollapseblog.com, it makes me sleep good at night knowing he's out there because he really condenses a lot of info. He also has really good analysis. It's not fear-mongering, but spot on. He's also an author. In fact, I need to read that. But the point is that, before we go back to him, when I'll get on a plug jag, and I'll plug 2 or 3 times an hour, and all of a sudden all the money we need comes in. But then I stop plugging because I'm not really worried about money. But I need the money. I need to hire a bunch of people. I need to really get aggressive. I need to go to the next level. Every time we grow, we just get more powerful. And I don't want the power. I want to defeat the globalists. I want to run them over. And so I need a lot of money. And I sell great products, water filters, air filters, nutraceuticals, great toothpaste that nobody else has got with colloidal silver and iodine in it. We get the biggest manufacturer of organic toothpaste in the country. Everybody knows their name. And they have a brand name, but it's actually another company makes the toothpaste, the owner company. And when you get a private label, you obviously you can't say the name of the company, but it's the big name. It's high quality, and then they proprietary make it for us. And they really like the formula. In fact, I'm in talks. I need to get on their subject with actually under their name putting it out in stores. They're like, it's funny, they want to actually work with us and don't want to even steal our idea. I guess they want me to brand it and have you get it in stores. Point is, this is the one product we're going to probably put in stores. I mean, my dad made the label himself. He wanted to do the whole project. So I think people actually like the cheesy label. I'm not putting my dad down. It looks like I made it or something. I'm not a good Photoshop guy, but yeah, Dr. David Jones did this whole thing start to finish. And so it's a big hit. It doesn't really make us a lot of money because you don't make money on toothpaste, but it's a great product for folks to learn about our other products and how good they are. It's at InfoWarsStore.com. If you sign up for auto ship, you get 10% off. You're going to need toothpaste every month, so order it every 15 days, every 30 days, every 60, 90, whatever you want. Just you get 10% off. You can cancel anytime. We've got thousands of reviews on the products, hundreds and hundreds of views on this, 4.8 stars, unprecedented, 5 stars, you name it. Great product, which supports healthy oral hygiene. Outstanding product. Good move to a new product. I would buy this again. Game changed. I mean, it really is the best concentrated toothpaste out there. It doesn't have the fillers. Remember toothpaste, even though it had fluoride in it, used to work better because it was real thick and it would barely come out of the tube. They were giving you a lot of product in there. Remember that old-fashioned toothpaste? It's all like real light now and kind of just comes out, even if it's organic, because it's fillers. There's not fillers in this. And quite frankly, it's kind of strong. It's almost, I can handle a lot. It's kind of strong for me because it's real good. We got bubble gum coming out. I told my dad, I said, it's your project, but why bubble gum? Why don't we just call it light or something? You know, good for kids, but it's a kid's formula. But quite frankly, I might do the bubble gum sometimes. And I'm not the type of guy that can't handle strong toothpaste. I mean, my dad really came up with something here. So it's concentrated, it's strong, it's got a lot of tea tree oil and peppermint in it too. So InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, sign up for auto ship. Orders of $50 or more, free shipping. And again, 10% off on auto ship, InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. All right, Mr. Snyder, I want to read your book. I didn't get you on to plug your book, but I want to read it before I have you on about it. But I didn't even know you were an author on top of it, so let's talk some about that in a minute. But first, kind of take over because I'm all wound up here today. What would you call the climate we're in? Because, I mean, it's so surreal to be immersed in the facts and know what's really going on versus what we're told, and to see Democrats saying, it's much worse. There's Russians all in the White House. Trump's going down. We're bringing him down. It's on firestorm. His national security advisor talked to the Russian ambassador, and they mentioned sanctions. He said, yeah, the president will talk to you about that. And then they admit that's totally normal, but it doesn't matter. Firestorm, everything. And then Trump's removed him. And, I mean, this seems like cutting yourself and jumping in like shark-infested waters. Go ahead.
Yeah, Alex, what we're seeing is kind of the blossoming of a political movement. And for whatever reason, history or providence has chosen Donald Trump to be at the head of this anti-globalist movement. And this battle is going to take a period of time to play out. And if this movement, if Donald Trump loses, if this movement loses, we're going to lose everything ultimately, because the globalists, we're going to have FEMA camps, we're going to have, you know, a socialism, we're going to have everything that
and
the globalists...
And by the way, I hate to interrupt you, but they announced the camps. They've announced they want to shut down the press. They've announced they want to arrest me. I mean, it's real. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's why the success of Trump is so critical, because if he loses, if his movement is defeated, if this movement is defeated and the globalists win, well, they're just going to go all the way and we're going to lose everything. But if we win,
I'm going to go all the way
back. We could get our country back. We could get the United States back. We could get America back. So this is literally life or death. Future or no future.
And by the way, they've called it death battle. Their own people say we're in a death battle, and they even say with America. They even chant USA, KKK, go away. These are literal fifth column brainwashed idiots who have no idea what North Korea is like. Sorry.
Oh, and I don't even know if Donald Trump fully comprehends the full scope of this. You know, he just says, oh, we're a nation, we need to have borders. But when he talks about borders or building a wall or immigration bans, what he's saying is we want to have a nation. We want to have borders that mean something. And that's totally opposed to the globalists who want a world without borders. That's why they're so upset, because it goes directly against their agenda. Or when Donald Trump says, I'm opposed to free trade, I'm opposed to not necessarily free trade, but these interlocking and interweaving globalist trade agreements that are trying to basically merge the whole global economy into a one world economy. When Donald Trump says, I'm opposed to those agreements, he's directly opposing their agenda to bring the global economy into one. Or when Donald Trump says, hey, I'm concerned about radical Islam and the terrorism, well, you're not supposed to say anything bad about Islam, because Islam is supposed to be, according to the globalists, part of their one world religion agenda. So the globalists want a one world...
and that's key. That's key. People have to understand, the Pope is saying, nothing disgusts me more, that's a quote, than hearing about Christian roots of Europe. That's a quote 3 months ago. They're in the news today saying one world currency, total control, open borders, it's crazy. Let's go back to before the break. The break interrupts you, and so did I. You mentioned Politico. Everybody suddenly like, global government's in trouble. It was so wonderful and liberal, and Trump's bad. So they've gone from denying it to now saying it's anti-racist, world government's loving, when it's an unelected nightmare. So what do you make of their defeat? Having to admit now globalism's real, it's unelected, it's in crisis, but it's liberal, so we should all support it. Go ahead.
Yeah, at one time, if you use the term globalists, well, people would immediately peg you as a quote unquote conspiracy theorist. And so you've been using that term for many, many years. It's a term that I use, but the mainstream media would never use that term before. But now they're openly using the term globalist. The New York Times is using the word globalist in their headlines and saying, oh, the globalists feel defeated. They feel like their agenda has been derailed. And so they're just coming out right out in the open and saying this, and they're trying to position themselves as the good guys, as opposed to Trump. Oh, Trump and his people, they're against globalism. They're the bad guys. They need to be defeated. So now, instead of a conflict that was kind of underneath and hidden, now it's just way out in the open. Now the mainstream media is just getting all on board. Oh, globalism is good. We need globalism. And so it's come to the surface. It's right out in front. And you know, and people need to realize that this is moving forward.
And Snyder, describe what globalism is. It's totally corporate world government above the law, tax exempt, ruling us with weird creepies like Bill Clinton running it.
Oh, yeah. And in this article in the New York Times, they even said Bill Clinton's one of the biggest globalists of all, which is very true. But I was shocked to see it in the New York Times. But they're not even trying to hide it anymore. And so they're going to use political ends and the law and the courts to try to fight Trump. They're also potentially going to use the economy. And so people need to be watching the economy because That's
my next issue. You're so on target. We've seen Bloomberg, Goldman Sachs, all the big banks saying dump your stocks, the Trump recovery's over. The public should be so angry at that. They're openly trying to plunge the economy to sabotage Trump. I've never seen them so naked, like we're idiots, admitting they want to sabotage it to hurt him. Talk about that.
Yeah, at some point, they're going to pull a trigger. You know, the elite, one thing they have is lots and lots of money, lots of financial resources. And so they have the kind of resources that can do an incredible amount of damage to the financial system and to the economy. And so, you know, the people out there who are assuming, hey, we're going to go through the next 4 years, and just because Trump is president, we're not going to have any economic problems, I think that they're being maybe naive, because ultimately, you know, how American voters vote is primarily due to their pocketbooks, how the economy is doing. And so the global elite, if they want to hurt Trump's reelection chances for 2020, they will want to crush the economy, make things look terrible, and so that a globalist candidate can win next time. And so, in my opinion, I've been writing about this and the signs that we are already potentially moving into a recession, but potentially what Trump and Trump supporters should want, if a recession is coming, what we should want is for it to start as soon as possible. I know that sounds a little strange, but follow me. Start as soon as possible so it can end as soon as possible. If you remember back during the Reagan years, you know, when Reagan came in, a horrible recession started very early in his presidency, but then there was a recovery. And then they had those commercials during Reagan's reelection campaign. It's morning in America again, and he rode that momentum to an easy victory. So if the coming recession starts quickly and then there's a recovery, Trump could potentially ride that momentum to, you know, and help him in the 2020 campaign. But right now, we're already seeing the economy start to slow down.
Sure. What do we do as citizens and listeners and activists? I have my ideas. I'll tell you that. I want to get yours. I want to tell the intelligence agencies, everything's surveilled. We already know that. The time is to stop worrying about your own butt and do the right thing. I mean, I can say I clearly, just as a citizen, to put myself on the line here, because turning yourself over to Soros and these vampires is just, it's just not even a choice. We must resist this. The criminal activities, you know, the information, the pedophilia, the corruption, the Chinese funding the Democrats. Hell, they're in the newspapers, you know, saying they're going to stop Trump. We've got to get the word out on that. You've got to leak information on criminal activity. The war just begun. Trump's leading our force on the beachhead. We have a winning force. We will win. We've got to get it all on the beach, and we've got to have the initiative, and we got to fight. And we've got to realize we're not up against dumb liberal media. We're up against evil people. You see their congressmen and senators who seem like mentally ill or retarded. That's because they're puppets. But there are smart psychopaths behind them we're dealing with, and we have to literally turn the heat up, pray to God, take action, call C-SPAN, call Congress, go to events, have our own Tea Party event, go out and confront the liberals trying to storm all these other events and bully people into submission, expose John McCain, expose Lindsey Graham, expose Mitch McConnell, expose the Speaker of the House, who is an absolute globalist under Soros control. Federal Election Commission shows it. Paul Ryan. We have to get Trump absolutely to understand he doesn't even know. He doesn't know how Twitter works. Hell, I hardly do, but they're only letting negative tweets up at the top for him to see it. They're gaming everything to isolate the president. And we've got to just absolutely barrage through so that he knows that we understand what's happening, because his instincts are all dead on still. He doesn't go to mainstream media. He goes to new media events. But again, when Spicer does, he goes to the globalist. So we just have to get through to the president and have to let him know that we understand what's happening and get through to everybody else. And again, good people in the military, police, corporate folks, everybody. This is the time to decide which side you're on. Holy smokes here. You've got to join with the Republic and sovereignty. This is so clear. This is so critical. Michael Snyder.
Yeah, Alex, people need to understand we're in a war, but it's not a war with guns. It's not a war with fists. It's an information war. And let me just give people an example. Let's say there was no Alex Jones. Let's say there was no Infowars.com. Would Donald Trump be president today? I think that's an open question because, the support that you gave and the millions upon millions of people that you all reach every week, and the support for Trump that you showed. I mean, the
president's told me he believes it was a critical factor in the whole deal. The point is that everybody has to be the info war. Don't think Alex is there. They could get me, folks. Let's just, and I don't fear for myself. I fear for failure and these monsters getting control of our children. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. And so we all need to do what we can. Personally, I'm just one person living in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of nowhere up in the Northwest. And from my little home.
And 10 years ago, you hardly reached anybody. Now you reach 20, 30, 40 million people a week. You're on Drudge. You're all over everywhere all the time. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, and that was just one person taking action, not giving up, trying to do what he could. But it takes all of us because there's a limit to what any one of us can do. But we can all be involved, and people would have never heard.
And we can override their algorithms. They try to cheat us. They try to block us. We use their platforms and spread there, but we make our own platforms. And the key is hit them on every platform. Go ahead.
And that's why they've made such a big deal of fake news, because they know we're a threat. They know that the power that we have now, they know that Donald Trump never could have won the election without the alternative media. And so they're said, okay, we've got to target fake news. We've got to go after these people and try to hit them hard. But that's why we need to redouble our efforts, get bigger and get stronger, not so we can become famous or so we can do whatever, but so we can make more of a difference, more of an impact.
So the pedophile network that runs everything can't keep grabbing our kids out of the backyard? Yeah, that's why. Yeah, they all go right to hell. And Hillary making Pizzagate story jokes. Yeah, she was a specialist at representing pedophiles that were known rapists of children. Just now we know who she is. She's a frickin' Renfield, man. God almighty. I wish I didn't have the whole thing figured out. We're going to come right back with Michael Snyder. Stay with us. Man, I should have talked more about this Oroville Dam in Northern California. I mean, you look at how scary it looks coming down that mountainside. It is just incredible when they pull back. We can show the footage from earlier that I saw during the break. Again, a lot of this is radio listeners. If you listen to us on the station, you're like, well, they're talking about seeing stuff. We're just showing you Fox News analyzing it. Back it up about a minute or so, because it showed it from far off, and now it's eroding the mountainside. And yeah, and I mean, talk about scary looking. And again, they wouldn't fix the dam. They wouldn't upkeep it for 30 years. They want dams destroyed, folks. And then they say, of course, California doesn't have any water. People go, well, they were in a drought. Those reservoirs were full. They wouldn't let you use it for environmental reasons. They just want to bankrupt everything because they're long-term folks. They then get your property. But I do think it's an archetypal or allegory, parallel example of the human awakening to what's happening and 7.5 billion souls realizing what the globalists are doing. Just like Zuckerberg thought he could steal a bunch of land in Hawaii from people, everybody stood up to him. He's this big fake liberal. It's like standing in front of rushing dam water. If people call me alarmist, I've always used the allegory of the dam. If I live up on the mountainside and I've got a radio down to the town 10 miles away and I see the dam break, this happened before, and I radio down and say, get out of there, get out of there. Water's going to be there in about 10 minutes. It's 50 feet high. It's going to kill you. I'm not a fearmonger. I'm warning people. I'm doing something proactive. And let me tell you, it's flooding so bad, it looks like that dam may break, not just the spillway. It's now eroding all around the mountainsides. And look, here's the deal. I could get massive ratings if we did live Facebook mentions covering the helicopter and drone feeds of this that are being shown by NOAA and other groups. But there's so much real stuff going on that's even bigger that even though this dam's dangerous and horrible and a great example of our infrastructure crumbling, it's not that important You know, covering that they're 12 years overdue for a mega quake in Southern California that'll be thousands of times worse than this conservatively, 10,000 times worse. That's really the big enchilada. And again, it shows no one cares anymore in the establishment. They don't care if reactors are leaking, Fukushima. There's just this crazy narcissism where they're so obsessed with themselves they don't care. And so downstream dams are flooding, more storms are coming. That dam looks like it's going to break to me. I saw some footage of the mountain around it coming down. Doesn't look good to me. Doesn't look good to me, I tell you. And folks don't even know how to evacuate properly. Let's go back to Michael Snyder. Michael, what do you think about this dam? Closing comments.
I think it's quite alarming because literally for years our infrastructure has been crumbling all around us. And Donald Trump is right with his instincts to want to spend $1 trillion on infrastructure because literally, I mean, we had all these great projects which were built in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s when America was a lot greater than it was today.
Yeah, the last time was Eisenhower building stuff.
Yeah, a lot of those great infrastructure projects are now crumbling. They haven't been replaced. They haven't been upkept. And so, you know, Governor Jerry Brown of California had a list of $100 billion of projects that needed to be done in California. And the Oroville Dam wasn't even on his list. You know, that's how bad things have done. I mean, if you go into many of our airports today, you know, some of them look like third world countries, like you're going through.
And Trump says that, and they go, oh, he's anti-America. No, he knows infrastructure spending actually is what gives people jobs and creates a country. It's like renovating a house. It ups the value.
It absolutely does. And it's one of the legitimate functions of a federal government or a state government is to build infrastructure, to do roads and airports and dams and these kind of things. But, you know, it's been neglected for so long and it's been in a crisis for years. There's been report after report about the crisis. Now, the thing that Trump's facing, it's great to want to spend all that money on infrastructure. But unfortunately, where is the money going to come from? Because under Obama, of course, the national debt went from $10.6 trillion to $20 trillion. I mean, our debt's just exploding. So and it's going up more than $1 trillion a year.
It's
so
insane. You know, you're really an expert on that. We should have you back soon. Thank you so much. I'm going to introduce Watson in T-minus 70 seconds as we go into the fourth hour. Stay with us. I'm Alex Jones. Spread the link. They're trying to censor us. I mean, we're the new counterculture, and we're actually fighting for something. This has been adopted as of 2017 by the Department of Defense. All four branches of the military, Combat One. And guess who in the spring of 2017 has the exclusive right to sell this to everybody else but the military? Infowars.com. I want to commend Q and Patrick and the rest of our team. I want to commend Combat One for getting the big Pentagon deal. And I want to thank them for supporting us because they know we support America. We are the exclusive source of Combat One skin and muscle optimization, field foam, field spray, skin and muscle optimization, and broad spectrum hygiene tactical bath. Contains 8 pre-moistened cloths. Ladies and gentlemen, these are incredibly affordable, and they have patented proprietary systems. That's why it's been adopted by the Pentagon, by the Defense Department, system-wide. I'm going to go over some of the numbers, some of the proven statistics, and the claims that Combat One can make right now. Never before has the public been able to access this new Combat One military-grade hygiene technology used by special operations to maintain hygiene during survival situations. Studied for safety and effectiveness by St. John's Medical Research Institute, St. Jude's, and the American Journal of Infection Control. The technology behind Combat One wipes kills bad bacteria while leaving beneficial skin bacteria unharmed. That's the key buffer. The toxic wipes, the sanitizers kill everything, including your immune system. They lower your fertility. It's all admitted. Combat One is able to do this naturally by only targeting the bad stuff. And again, it's all patented. It's super secret. 12 years, Special Forces testing it. This is something every info warrior needs to order, needs to have in their home, needs to use in their daily lives, whether it's cleaning your guns or your own skin or when you're out camping. This is the game changer. The entire family of Combat One is available exclusively at InfoWarsStore.com.
Just coming back from the river where I was using one of our water filtration straws, a certain device we sell here at InfoWarsStore.com, and I had smacked my knuckle pretty hard the other day with my knife after cleaning one of the animals. So I want to use some Combat One foam, show you guys that we actually use it. how well it works. This wound's been open for about 5 days now. I just dipped it in and out of the river, so just better safe than sorry. Once I let that soak in, I'll wrap it up, field dress, and nice and clean again.
And it certainly is coming to the rescue with Combat One, born in America, made in America, and now distributed by Infowars to America.